ladies and gentlemen, the last Thursday here at Lanes Raceway for LMP Thunder action. Is it all what you expected to see Randy Kirtley, Paul Woosley in such a vigorous bout to the finish? Nonetheless, here we are this Thursday at Lanes Raceway. Current standings will show Paul Woosley in the lead by 20 or so laps by Randy Kirtley. So Randy Kirtley definitely have to exchange themselves a race. But Paul Woosley and Randy Kirtley kind of out on their own there for a battle for first place. Tonight and Sunday is all we have left. But also Tom Payton and Glenn Burton's got themselves a little bit of a battle rolling. Bruce Bullington, if he can get an exchange for a couple races here, he'll be in that same battle with Tom and Glenn. So it's just up in the air what's fixing to take place here at Lanes Raceway. And, of course, Thursday night, we don't glue the tracks. So it might be in for a little bit of fast action here at Lanes Raceway. Reasons unknown to me, my microphone stand does not want to keep my microphone where it needs to be. Looks like our racers are ready. Other than a couple coming around today, wife fixed me a little bit of a snow cone in a cup. Had some extra ice left over. All right, here we go. Paul Woosley grabbing his controller. Racers, are you ready? Watch your lights. Like that, a little panache there. Get the guys in battle in order. Told them earlier, I said, I want a clean bout. I want a clean fight. I don't want no fist fights. I don't want no bloody noses and broke backs. They seem to agree. Pictures falling off the wall. We got posters like completely exploding in here. It's a hot day here in Livermore, Kentucky. 93 degrees Fahrenheit, ladies and gentlemen. 93 degrees outside. Humid as I'll get out. I almost need a snorkel to go outside. It's so wet. We see Glenn Burton's car coming kind of somewhat of a stall there in the horseshoe portion of the track. Nonetheless, Paul Woosley out to an early lead. Randy Kirtley right out of the gate. Might have to get that fly swatter. Found a fly swatter the other day. I'm going to grab that. I'm back. Anyways, Randy Kirtley just recently got himself a brand spanking new motor put inside of his car. Paul Woosley and Glenn Burton and Bruce, well, and Tom too. When I got here, there was just somber in here. Everybody head down, music was playing, but everybody was just down to business, working on their cars, as they know it's pulling down to the wire here. Final few times to roll around the track in the LMP Thunder Series here at Lanes Raceway. Paul Woosley and Randy Kirtley both just neck and neck this whole series. As we see about the halfway point through, Paul Woosley starting to gain some advantage against Randy Kirtley. Just sheer dedication here as of late. Randy Kirtley, of course, putting in what he can with the time he's been allotted here. Both of them running decent lap times here. Best lap time 3.259, 3.360 for Randy Kirtley there on red. The thing is, keeping your car on is what it boils down to between these two fighters here. We see Glenn Burton having some troubles there keeping his car. Oh, and several people coming off there. As we see my wife, the only track marshal here tonight, I just couldn't pass up an opportunity here tonight to host this. And she's got two track buttons, so I just told her to hit the track buttons tonight. That's about all we can do. Now, of course, in the next series coming up, won't have to worry about that. Our racers will be hitting the buttons, and they won't have to worry about losing huge, substantial amounts of time depending on track marshals. So But it's all going to be instantaneous. Where you see countdowns now, there will be no countdowns. It'll be once the button gets pressed, you're going live. So be prepared that whenever those cars get put back on, you better have controller in hand ready to rock, because it will come on live instantaneously as soon as the buttons hit. Let's see, T getting Paul Woosley's car put back on now. Randy Kirtley, after that wreck, taking over the lead there on red lane. That's the difference right there in the donut between first and second is Randy there on red and Paul right there behind him underneath the bridge. The national races are, I believe, this weekend, and they're in Mid-America, I believe. Now, Randy, he read earlier this week that they will not be live streaming that they'll just be posting the results as they happen. Maybe eventually they will. I'm hoping that us doing live streams here at Lanes Raceway maybe encourages those to try to push a little bit forward to get that to happen. But that's still up in the air. We'll see. Maybe eventually we'll see some nationals live streamed. That'd be pretty cool, especially with the Group 7s. Paul Woosley there, 32 laps. Randy Kirtley, 32 laps. Very, very close. Guys, it's going to boil down to it on this race for sure. See, Glenn Burden there coming off yet again. Oh, wait a minute, that is Paul Woosley. Paul Woosley coming off there on blue lane. Now, of course, we glued the track Sunday, so and when I glue it pretty good here recently. So we kind of give the track a little bit of a break. Not a whole lot of people's been running on it this week, so I didn't see a need to re-glue it. Plus, some of the guys really like to run the cars without a little glue every once in a while. So on Thursdays, we just made it to where I'm not going to glue it, and then Sundays we'll glue it and get the track back to sticking. But it looks like they're sticking really good right now. We might not even have to glue it Sunday. Halfway through the heat, 2 minutes and 24 seconds here. We got Paul Woosley out in the lead by a lamb shake tail here. Tom Payton there in third place with 43, battling with Bruce Bullington with 43. Glenn Burden there on green lane with 40 laps. Seven laps separates first from last. And I'm going to give me a bite of this delicious icy here at Lanes Raceway. We got all the flavors you can think of here, folks. And we even have the cream. I'm also really excited for coming up. We have the dirt late models. I'm excited for that. I hope you guys are too. What a race we had last Sunday. Just a little spur of the moment, just kind of test to see how things work with stock everything, rock and roll right out of the box. And I was impressed with how close they were racing. I think it's going to be an interesting season for sure. It's really going to boil down to the guys keeping their cars straight and, of course, keeping that power plant as lively as possible. So about once every 4 or 5 races probably wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and swap that motor out and, keep that power up. And I think it's going to boil down to that because they wreck so minor that you got to get your laps elsewhere. And a strong motor is a real good way to do that. Also, another good way, just keep your car freed up. Just kind of just make it, you can do the sorting yourself. We sort it here, we get it free. I'm not going to go into detail of, getting it perfectly aligned, but you can do that on your own. If you get it free and put a little oil on it, the bushings will break in and it'll free up on its own over time. Probably about 2 or 3 races, it'll be perfect. But there is a way to get it set up and freed up perfect on the first race. But like I said, I'm not going to put in that kind of time to do that. especially whenever the prices I use to charge to get all this stuff set up. But I can set you up to where it's competitive at least. But that's what it boils down to. Because no strengthening, no weight, have to fit in between the jig of the tech tool, clearance, all that has to be right. Stomp motor only, 929 tooth, gear ratio in the rear only, 850 fish from Mid-America only. So a lot of lockdown action in the upcoming Super Late Model Series. Not yet sponsored, by the way. If you'd like to sponsor, the bare minimum we'll take for sponsoring a series is $1,000. If you want to sponsor individual race weekend, it's $100 a race weekend. Of course, there's going to be several race weekends. I think GRC-wise, there's going to be 20 or 30 race weekends, something like that. But if you sponsor the full series, you're in every one of the race weekends because the series is named after you. So definitely something to think about. Pretty good tax write-off also. Got some things set up for tomorrow at the banquet. It's going to be a pretty good time. Got the barbecue coming from Hot Ash or Bad Ash or something like that from Madisonville. Used to be called Dave's Sticky Pig. And we'll have some barbecue coming this Sunday for the banquet, for whenever everybody gets together to receive their checks, their big checks or t-shirts, trophies, all that kind of stuff. We're just going to have a day to where a little bit after 12, the food will be ready and everybody will come in here and get them something to eat and do them a little bit of racing and hopefully sign up for the next series. Of course, you can sign up now. You can come in here and talk to me and sign up, or you could shoot us a call or something. We could take cards, of course, anywhere. Just put it in on the system and get you in those series. The best thing to do is to pay the $100 and get in all series. So after the first heat there, we got Paul Woosley out in the lead by one lap with 86 there on blue. Randy Kirtley with 85 on red. Tom Payton 79, Bruce Willington 77, and Glenn Burton 74. So we still got a pretty tight little race here. Almost 10 laps separating from top to bottom there. Of course, Thursday nights do bring for some closer racing for sure. I'm going to leave you guys here with the current standings. As of August the 23rd, these are current, so just yesterday. So stay tuned with that. We'll try to get these updated tonight because Sunday we won't have time to do multiple ads. So we'll go ahead and get this added up tonight. That way Sunday, as soon as the race is over with, we'll know who the winner is. You won't know because you'll be going right into Rookie Rumble and watching that. And then after Rookie Rumble, we'll do our celebration and you'll find out who won the L&P Thunder Series. You'll also find out who took home Little Rumble and Rookie Rumble big checks and their cars respectively and their track time. So a minute 37 seconds. We'll be right back with you. All right, folks, we're back. 4 red lights dropping out, and I kept my wife a little long on that one, but hopefully she can get out there for the first car wrecks. And she does. Having a pretty good time here in Lanes Raceway this afternoon. Got here a little earlier today. Had quite a few things to get prepared. Don't forget, tomorrow, if you're watching this, pinball competition. It's back, folks. People are excited. They're having a blast here at Lanes Raceway. $5 entry. Come on in. We'll split the pot with you. Paying out to the top 3 skilled individuals at the pinball machines. And you have no excuse. I don't want to hear anything, well, the machine did this, the machine did that. You got the best multi-balls. These balls come from Pinball Bros, I think, or something like that. Anyways, they're supposedly the second best, if not the best pinballs in a machine. Not to mention, did I clean those pinball machines? Yes, I did. Every single one of the pinball machines cleaned. Not only that, are all the pinball machines cleaned, but does every pinball machine have lights in it? Yes, they do, folks. They have lights in it so that you don't have to worry about that ugly glare on the pinball machine. So there's no excuses here. Don't be saying that all these other things are the reason why you lost. You lost because you just wasn't good. But come on down and fight these guys, and don't let them run you out of town. Get in here and try to battle. One of these days, when I start seeing the competition get to a level to where I can get in, I'm fixing to get in too, and I'm going to be slapping the old silver ball myself. And when I slap it, I don't know if any of you guys know this, but I take that machine and I will straight move it. But that's another good thing too. If you're interested, we do have the plumb bobs for the tilt is all the way to the bottom, so you can really shake them. You can really move them without causing it to tilt. If you're wanting to practice for that, of course, all of our competitions, when we go competition, we cut off all of the random magnets and all that mess that's in there. We make it strictly skill-based. If you want to try that beforehand, all you got to do is hit our tournament button. It cuts all that stuff off too. So if you've already been playing pinball by the tournament button, you're good to go. Come on down here, have a good time. Even if you're not good at pinball, it's a good value. $5, 3 strikes, you're out. If you lose all 3 games, you pay just a little bit more than what you would normally pay to play pinball, and you get involved in a little bit of fun with other people, talking about pinball, and a little bit of friendly competition. I know I kind of get a little bit loud about it, but I'll tell you what, the people are great. There's nothing in the pinball that's going on that people get upset about. They like talking pinball. Have you heard about this pinball machine? That kind of stuff. We have a blast. So definitely come on down, check that out. It's a good thing, something fun to do on Friday night, especially when it's hot. Nobody really wants to be out in the hot heat. Nice and cool here in Lanes Raceway. And if you still think it's warm here in Lanes Raceway with the fans on and on, come on in here. We got ices for sale. Got Bahama Mama, banana, root beer, grape, blue cotton candy, peach, pink bubblegum, pina colada, lemon lime, strawberry, and wedding cake. And that's just what we got now. We're going to be getting 7 more flavors in the next week. So definitely come on in and check us out. One of them that ain't up there is the cream. You see me do this a lot, and that is after Macho Man Randy Savage. Look it up, Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream. You'll understand what I'm saying then. Nonetheless, we have the cream here, ladies and gentlemen. You can get the cream in your icy, and man, is it good. Those that don't know what it would taste like or what it would be kind of similar to, if you've ever had snow cream, that's basically the cream. It tastes like snow cream. So add that with your strawberry, add that with your banana, add that with your peach. You know, you got peaches and cream, strawberries and cream, banana and cream, you know, banana cream pie, whatever. But come on down, check it out, have a good time. Not to mention, we got upcoming Blast to the Past coming October the 28th. The pinballs are going to be turned on for free. Have a good time. Track's going to be covered in candy just like last year when we had the pinball gauntlet here at Lanes Raceway. Come on in for some good family fun and stay out of the streets doing ornery stuff on that day. A lot of people like to do ornery stuff. Come on to Lanes Raceway instead. I mean, for those that like to get a little bit aggressive and do, more aggressive boy type stuff, activities, tomboy stuff. We are going to have the VR set up. You know, you can do some racing. We're going to have a little competition with zombie mode or something like that, where you just do like waves of zombies or something. And then probably going to set up a little bit of dip dogs, maybe. Cook on the spot right out of the case, and just have a good time. Plenty of food, snacks. Might have a vendor or two here. We're going to cut off a few of the parking spots outside. We're going to be outside. It's just going to be a good time hanging out, family and friends. I've been telling everybody, I hope you guys come and hang out with us and have a good time. Might even set up a few Xboxes inside so the kids can do some 1v1 on some games or something, racing or something like that. But it'll be a good time. Right now, Paul Woosley out in the lead by 3 laps to Randy Kirtley. Followed by Tom Payton there with 128, Bruce Bullington 124, and Glenn Burton 123. Pretty tight little battle between Glenn and Bruce there. Tom Payton kind of somewhere in no man's land. About 3 or 4 laps difference separates him from Bruce, but all that can be definitely caught up with. Bruce, of course, on the tough lane there on red. That dead man corner hit right there is just real tough to get around for anybody. But he's doing quite well, running a 3.5 best lap, holding in there with a 3.85, keeping her in the 3-second range for sure. Tom Payton there with 3.7, 3.5 also on white lane, so having some of the similar issues of that tight corner coming around the donut there, not being able to accelerate out true, get through that horseshoe like you would like. Now, people on the good lanes, that would be Paul Woosley up there rocking the purple lane, doing 3.2 lap times, 3.32 on his median. Glenn Burton also on a good lane there with blue, a little bit higher up on the hog and towards the middle, being able to carry a little bit more speed through the donut. Randy Kirtley on green, still high, but not as high as white. You're starting to get in towards the middle lanes at that point. About equally as good as like it would be on a yellow lane or something of that nature. Notice that 50 seconds left to go in this heat. These guys are giving it their all, as you can tell, and I'm telling you about all kinds of stuff happening here at Lanes Raceway. Not only that, we got VR competitions live till tomorrow. So if you're going to come in and you're going to do some pinball action, a little pinball tournament, come on in and, you know, test your skill, test your mantle, I guess they call it, or medal, at our VR/big screen monitor Eldora race, 10-lap trial on the iRacing setup. And that is a commercial setup from iRacing, folks. So you can come in here. It's everybody's equal. You ain't got to worry about that. Everybody has the same chance. And whoever wins tomorrow in the weekly is going to get a GRC car. So you can get yourself set up, do a GRC race. And of course, our GRC races run all Saturday long. So you can come in there on Saturday and for $25 all day long, run as many GRC races as you want. So that's a good time. Not to mention all day track times, just $20. And we're going to alternate between the racetracks, orange, green, so on and so forth. And we also have a oval race, rookie oval race, which is just the rental cars for the real youngsters that just really don't understand how to do trigger control right yet, but they love the cars. Come on down and we can set a race up for that. And like I said, you know, the little rental race is all free of charge. So for all the kiddos, come on down, get them an icy, set a spell, and let the kids have a good time laughing. Paul Woosley out in the lead, turning 90 laps there on purple, 176. Randy Kirtley, 172, turning 87 there on green. 158 done by Tom Payton, turning 279s. Bruce Bullington turning 277s at 154. And Glenn Burton somewhere in the middle there with a 74 and a 79, right on the tail of Bruce Bullington. I'll tell you what, folks, going to leave you here with the current standings as of August the 23rd. Be right back with you. All right, folks, back in the action. 0 drop, 4 red lights turn into a green, and we're going racing. Just mentioning to the guys about the Eldora 10-lap challenge here at Lanes Raceway, the iRacing Challenge. Hey, no excuses there, folks. If you ain't got skill, it's going to be tough for you to get that one. We got some tough competition here, guys coming in, racing hard. But nonetheless, how can you pass up having such a good time? Whether you win or lose. 10 laps, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but folks, that's a good right at 5-6 minutes worth of racing. We have the best setup you can possibly think of. 4090 Supram, water-cooled graphics card, 13th generation i9 13,900 and whatever K CPU, 64 gigabytes of memory. This baby is a humdinger of a computer. Probably the fastest thing I've ever seen, to be honest. Just to put in perspective, the monitor can do 144 hertz refresh rate at like 3,000 and something resolution. But the game can do 500 frames a second. That's where we're at. 500 frames a second, full graphics. That's full textures, full shaders, full ambient occlusion, the whole nine. Even heat coming off the motor. So, the most realistic racing experience that you can have. Force feedback steering wheel, a nice little seat to set in, and we're wanting to progress. We're wanting to even go further than that, folks. You say, well, how much more could you go? Well, we got the best VR headset. If you want to do it in VR, you want to feel like you're in the car. We have the Vario Aero, the best VR headset that you can get. And, some would argue the Crystal, but I'm not going to spend hours and hours setting that baby up whenever it's almost identical quality-wise to the Vario Aero. Not to mention the Vario Aero is like military-grade stuff. Very robust, fits everybody's head really good, easy to put on, easy to take off, doesn't pinch the hairs out of your head. Nice, smooth surface across the face, and it's not too heavy. So it's a perfect combo, and in my opinion, everybody that makes a headset needs to make one how they did their head strap. There are some downside effects of it, but it doesn't really affect us here at Lanes Raceway because we can be as loud as we want. The headphones, non-existent. We got it hooked to speakers for that real good rumble. When you race, we want everybody to see it. So we put it up on the screen and let everybody see you race. Get down here, have a good time. Like I said, these prices, there's arcade games that doesn't have this much immersion and they charge you twice as much. And I can tell you that for a fact. We actually went to a place in Nashville and they had a Fast and the Furious, which is basically a reskin Cruising USA. And they were charging $5 to race, $3 for upgrades in the game. And there was no force feedback. There was no moving of the seat. There was no VR. And, here we are at Lanes Raceway. We have force feedback steering wheel. We have VR. We have immersion. And we're going to take it to the next level, folks. Stick with us. I'm telling you, it's going to get better here. Not to mention, are we taking slot car to the next level? We're going to take these esports racing to the next level here in this little town. Plan on getting more machines, actual true motion simulation here. You want to ride a roller coaster in Lanes Raceway, we're going to make it happen. Now, whether or not you're actually on the track, it's going to feel like it. You're going to have a VR headset on, fans blowing you in the face. This is all to come. All right, get excited. Because if you don't get excited, I have to be the one that gets excited. And you know how that can get sometimes. I get a little annoying. Brother and my mom's always said somewhat of a hand is what they would say. They call me a hand in front of the cam. And of course, here lately I haven't really been able to just relax as much as I'd like. I'm coming down to the relaxing point because we got this race and one more to go. I'm fixing to set up a new setup. So, when I set it up, it's a lot easier to deal with. Not to mention, I don't have to redo everything off of this one. So September, here we come. A relaxed moment for me and my wife. Going to be able to clean the tracks back, super clean. Getting ready for that October start for all the series, and then not to mention having a good time on that blast to the pass October the 28th. I'm going to keep telling you about it. I want you guys to come. It's going to be so much fun. And just try to have as much fun as we possibly can here in this little town. I think little towns have more fun than big towns. Big towns, you know, it's almost expected. Little towns, they're thankful for everything they got. I know because I've lived in a little town my whole life, and I'll tell you what, I'm excited for the things to come here at Lanes Raceway. I cannot be any more excited than I am. A minute and 40 seconds left to go. As excitement goes, Paul Woosley and Randy Kirtley having a very, very close race. 4 laps difference separates them. Now, you might be thinking, well, Paul's running off with things, but Paul is now what we like to call on those hot lanes, purple, black, yellow. Those are the hot lanes here on the orange track, where you can carry more speed through the donut portion of the track. Randy Kirtley's going to get his go at it here very shortly. And when he does, we're going to start seeing that kind of level back out a little bit. Tom Payton there, 214. Bruce Bullinson, 213. Glenn Burton, 213. We got a battle for third place here, folks. A battle here at Lanes Raceway. And like I said, these guys, they've been battling all season long for this LMP Thunder. We got some surprises coming for them Sunday. Super excited for them. I know they're super excited. Somebody's going to hoist that check, folks. They're going to hoist that $500 first place check for the LMP Thunder Series race series here at Lanes Raceway. And I think the sub race is going to be so great. But you say, well, how can you outdo the LMP Thunder Series? Well, I'll tell you. Quite simply, we're going to outdo the Thunder Series with the 4 crowns here at Lanes Raceway, folks. So get ready. That's all I can tell you. Get ready. Because just as soon as this series is over with, taking a small hiatus, I guess you would say, into the upcoming series in October. Well, that's different. Having a little issue here, folks. Having a little issue. 1 second. There we go. I forgot to turn on the chat for YouTube. Nonetheless, September, like I said, just taking that small little hiatus. 4 weeks, folks. 4 weeks before we get into October. If you haven't signed up, sign up now. We got Wing Car Series. We got NASCAR Fairview IT Cup Series. We got IndyCar. Everybody's been super excited waiting to do IndyCar. It's our logo here at Lanes Raceway. We have an IndyCar as a logo here at Lanes Raceway. Everybody's excited for that. That's going to be on the orange and the oval. So extreme changes in, hey man, somebody might be really good on the oval and not too good on the orange. Well, both are going to be giving the same amount of points. So it doesn't matter how many laps you turn in these series. It matters where you finish. So, I hate to say it might cause more aggression, might cause people to wreck each other more often. But at the end of it, that's what it's going to boil down to. Then we got the new series coming up, super late model, folks. Let me just show you some of this stuff. It might tempt you to want to take a look. We got the Wing Car Series, like I was telling you, Wing Car, Group F Wing Cars from Mid-America. That's what you're going to expect. You see the orange track in the background there on the actual logo for this series. That is all going to be ran on the orange track. Not to mention the Fairview IT Cup Series, sponsored by Fairview IT Management. That's going to be your NASCAR series, basically. Super turbo flex chassis with Eagle Motors. Not to mention the IndyCar series, not yet sponsored. Hey, get your sponsorships in now. Come on in here. There's the IndyCars here at Lanes Raceway. And then, like I said, our brand new Dirt Late Model Series. And we've already had a preview of that to where that it was quite smooth. everybody was within, I think, 4 laps at the end of the race to each other, and the top 3 were on the same lap, folks. That's how close it was. Paul Woosley turning another blistering 90-lap heat there, 266 total laps. Randy Kirtley turning his first 90 there on blue, 4 laps better than what Paul could turn there on blue at 262. Like I said, folks, it's going to start changing. There's going to be a change in the water here. Bruce Bullington 77, 77, 81 for a 235. Tom Payton 76, 79, 79 for 234, and tied up with him, Glenn Burton 74, 79, 81. Glenn Burton, of course, getting down to his hot spots there on black and purple. And, of course, he really does love the black and the purple. Speaking of Glenn Burton, you may not see him very much on the top leaderboards on the pinballs here as of late. He's been kind of taking a hiatus, getting more focused in on the slot car racing, of course, getting into the end portions of the series. But he has let me know, Big Daddy 3 himself has let me know that he is coming back with a vengeance before September the 6th. He is coming to put them high scores up, folks. So definitely come down here and see if you can compete with Big Daddy 3. As of the past couple months, he has been the guy to beat. I know you may have noticed that we've got a few other guys out that haven't been in. Of course, they've gave me their reasons they haven't been in, but we've gained some new ones too. So definitely come on in and try your luck down here if you want to just play around and have fun with the magnets and everything. But if you want to compete, hit that compete button down there and compete with these guys and show them your skill. 41 seconds left to go. Leave you guys with the current standings as of August the 23rd, and be right back with you. All right, folks, a little late to the game, as you can tell, but I'm here nonetheless. Paul Woosley still your leader with 271, Randy Kirtley with 268, followed by Bruce and Tom tied at 240, Glenn Burton 1 lap down at 239. What a battle for third place. Looks like Bruce Bullington got the braid roller out. Gonna roll some braid down. I'm getting tore up by mosquitoes on my ankles here as of late, being outside. It's so humid. It's like mosquitoes are having their babies in the grass, I guess. But man, they're tearing me up. It got so hot this past Monday and Tuesday. We only mowed our yard, and we mowed it at nighttime, and it was still hot. Actually, my wife mowed it. She loves mowing. But I didn't end up going and mowing the other yard I usually mow. It was just too hot. I'm going to try to mow it this coming week. I hear a lot of times guys and gals in the vicinity of the area within 30 minutes or whatever not wanting to make the trip. Hey, make the trip. Telling you, it's worth it. You'll have a blast. These guys keep you in stitches. But just know this, you can show up here on a day that there's not like a series race, and there probably ain't going to be a lot of people here. But if that's what you're looking for, that's probably your best opportunity. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays usually are our lightest days. Saturdays sometimes ain't too bad for light days. Most of the time we get pinball players in Friday and Saturday. So but Thursday and Sundays, if you're looking for races, there's always some guys here wanting to do some racing. So definitely come in and check that out. And of course, we do have some homestay people. Pretty much everybody here right now is homestay people. They're here almost every Thursday. So come on in, do some racing. Of course, we'll have that little bit of a month reprieve as we go to get everything cleaned back up. Of course, stay tuned to our Facebook page once we get all that stuff cleaned and let you guys know. It's starting to get closer and closer to the point when we actually start up the Four Crowns races here at Lanes Raceway. Reason I keep calling it that is, you can run any of these series by themselves, and they have their own individual payout. Okay, we usually pay out top 10, but it really depends on how many entrants we get. We factor all that up when it's all said and done, but I will tell you this, I have been told that the bare minimum will be $5,000 purse. So definitely want to check into getting into these series for, competition wise, not to mention that, your efforts can be paid handsomely. And of course, you help Lanes Raceway out too. But reason it's called Four Crowns, we're going to take the Fairview IT Cup Series, the Wing Car Series, the IndyCar Series, and our new Dirt Late Model Series. We're going to add all those points together for ever how many series you're in. And those go to the grand champion, Four Crowns champion here at Lanes Raceway. And they will be crowned. We are going to crown them. And that's going to be our ultimate champion for the year. Fall season, of course, is our best season here at Lanes Raceway, and you will be crowned. It's going to be a blast. So definitely, you can get in one series. Those points will still carry over to the Four Crowns. But if somebody's in two series, you're most likely, there's no way you can keep up with them. So you want to get in as many as you can. We make opportunity for you to do that at a cheaper rate. So if you want to get in all of the series, it's just a lump sum of 100. So that kind of sounds like a lot to enter in that many series. Well, here's the thing. This series here, LMP Thunder, our late summer series, was $100 just for this one series. Now, granted, this series is technically like two series in one, as the heats are 5 minutes long. So it's 2 full and a half of a race. So it's like entering in 2.5 series. But this is making it to where you enter in 4 series for that price. That's 4 series for that price. And every race that you run gives you points towards the Four Crowns. So definitely get involved in that and make a run for it. How great would it be for you to be championed in the Four Crowns? What's up, Action Jackson? I see you there on Twitch. You feeling better, buddy? But I will say this. If I wasn't the one behind the seat here commentating races and talking to you guys about upcoming events and stuff every Thursday and Sunday, I would definitely be getting into something this special. I know between me and my brother, and my dad, we try to make these as special events as possible. And we got plenty of inspiration. Yeah, a lot better, actually. Well, that's good, man. Of course, Action Jackson had some trouble there last week. Got a little bit sick, ate some wrong food and stuff like that. It happens, but very proud of you, Jackson, man, hanging it in there till the end, till the bitter end, powering through. Action Jackson, definitely a force to be reckoned with, and I believe Jackson's going to be moving up into our next series. Now, of course, I know he's going to still stay in the GRC. I don't want to call it Rookie Rumble. It offends some when we say rookie around here. But the GRC series coming up, which is our biggest series coming up. Now, it's not a part of the Four Crowns. It's a separate entity. But it has the most races. And I think he's going to get in that, stay in that, of course. That'll be, I believe, all on the orange, or we're alternating haven't really decided yet. We still have a month to go. We're going to talk to the guys that are in it and what they want to do. It all boils down to what they want to do. But then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jackson, let us know, are you going to be moving up? Because you got your sights on a 4-inch car. Right now you're in a situation where you're battling with Jay for the Rookie Rumble. And as of late, you're now battling with Carson in the Little Rumble. If you are going to win, are you going to take the car? Are you going to take the controller in the Little Rumble? We're all wanting to know. And if you win the Rookie Rumble, what car are you planning on getting? Paul Woosley there, 313 laps, 3 laps ahead of Randy Curley. Randy Curley now down on some of those faster lanes. Like I said, Paul Woosley's starting to move up that hill. It's going to be a pretty close bout here for the next couple heats. After this, we're going to bring the guys in for, I got a flying sights, folks. Got him. He only took 3 hits. But there's going to be a close little battle between those two for the next couple heats. After this heat, going to bring them in for a weight inspection. All season long, guys, been really good, not cheating, showing a great, I guess, resolve. Stalled car down on black, Glenn Burton. There he goes. He's rolling now. But nonetheless, none of the guys have been cheating. Their weight's been in their cars all year, or all season long. It just kind of feels like a year because these guys are battling so hard. But all season long doing that, and we had no issues. I'm starting to think that we won't have an issue here. A lot of the guys opting, of course, to sorter in their weight. Tom Payton taking a quick look at his car there. There was a stark battle between Glenn, Tom, and Bruce. I can't tell you guys, I haven't been really paying that close of attention, but something happened there with Glenn. We've seen him stalled out there on Black Lane. Maybe y'all can let me know in the comments. If I win the Rookie, I will be getting in the 1 Series. I won last week, and then the Little Rumble, I will get the controller. All right, that's a good choice. The controller definitely helps you out more than you would think. Plus, it's a pretty good deal. And we thank Bruce Bullington, the guy that's in this race right now on Blue Lane. He was the one that offered that for the kids there in the Little Rumble. Trying to get them more invested, trying to get them to push forward a little bit more and move up into some of the serious racing like what these guys are in right now. And if you're wanting seriousness, like I said, that 4 Crowns coming up, that's as about serious as it gets, folks. I like to think of it as a serious nationals race. Like, anybody can race any kind of series. But can you get a guy that can race proficiently in several series? We're about to find out here at Lanes Raceway. And I don't know if this has ever been done in slot cars before, but we're about to find out. And if you've raced an Indy car before, especially on the orange track, you guys have seen it on stream before in our Indy heat a couple months back. You do know that those things are a handful and hard to drive. Wing cars, same thing, folks. If you don't know how to drive a wing car, it's tough. It's different than driving a GTP LMP car like what you see here. The GTP LMP car is very similar to like a NASCAR, a Fairview IT Cup Series car here at Lanes Raceway. And then, of course, now we're introducing a 4-inch GRC, close wheelbase, battling out that nobody's ran here. We're going to want 4 victors to roll on, and we'll see how that works. Now, of course, Paul Woosley, Randy Curley, Bruce Bullington, Tom Payton, Glenn Burton, all those guys are going to be battling for that position. And as we know, Glenn Burton took home the first win there in the Super Late Model Series. Him and Action Jackson, which are both Glenn Burton's cars. Action Jackson says, Jay is in the lead by 33 laps. Yeah, he is, man. So you got this race this weekend. You got to replace a race and be able to capitalize on those 33 laps. And you know, it's not over till it's over. Uh, if he doesn't get to replace a race, that's your best opportunity. You did kind of take somewhat of a hit this past week, as I believe both of your races didn't count. I can take a quick look here. Yeah, so for August the 20th, you had 412 total laps. Of course, I couldn't exchange that for anything. So we'll move over to the track, mate. We see Paul Woosley. 1 second, folks. All right, racers, if you would, please bring your cars in here to be weighed. Paul Woosley out in the lead, 354 laps. 2 laps down from that, Randy Kirtley with 352. We got a couple 90s rolling here for Randy and a couple 90s rolling for Paul Woosley. 317 Tom Payton, 317 Bruce Bullington, another close bout there, and Glenn Burton 281. As we can see here in the current standings, talking to Jackson here, he's got 2,100 right now out in the lead in Little Rumble. But Carson, replacing that big hitter last week, pushed him up to 2,020, only 80 down. Carson's not out of the mix yet, and neither is Jackson. As we see Jackson with 296 to Jay Latham's 129. But like I said, Jackson there, missing an opportunity August the 20th, 412 laps were not able to be replaced as all his other races were so much better than that. Whereas Jay was able to capitalize on that 428 and the 426 in the previous week to be able to replace some of his older races. Now that's in the Rookie Rumble. In the Little Rumble, Jackson also suffered some loss there with his 306, of course, lowest race I believe that he ran all season long. But Jackson was going through it, folks. He had a hard time rolling because of how he felt. So I think he's going to come back strong this next coming weekend. Of course, Sunday be the last race. So if you're watching this and you're in the series, definitely show up. We're going to have the banquet. We're going to have food to eat. It's going to be a good time. 50 seconds left to go to racing. Going to take a small break and leave you with the pinball scores. ladies and gentlemen, you can see Bruce Bullington. He's ready. Everybody else is rolling down the track and stuff like that. Of course, you guys know how this is. Whenever the guys get their cars weighed in, they get as much time as they need to work on their cars as an intermission, because it shouldn't be a punishment to weigh in.
Which one are they supposed to race on?
They're racing right now on the LMP
On the road
Thunder.
course?
Yeah.
I'm gonna mess around.
Yeah, just turn it on over there if you don't mind, babe.
I'll mess around on the big truck.
Okay. Yeah, she'll square you up. It'll be $12, man. All right, racers, if you're ready, watch them lights. All right, folks. So we got several interests happening here lately. Thank you, Jackson. Jay is in the lead by 33 laps. I think we said that a while ago. Jackson, just keep your head up, man. Roll hard. Do what you can. Jay's going to be some tough competition for sure. He's been doing it for quite some time. I just got done talking to Bruce about it. And Bruce, he definitely don't want Jay to win either. But I reiterate, Jay's been doing this literally as long as me and my brother and dad have been doing it. So maybe not as often as we used to do it back in the day, but he used to come to the races. He'd race FCR at Slot City with the rest of us. So he does have a good ability to know how to race, and he races in the basement quite often with us too. So keep your head up. Like when you're racing against people that's been doing it for a long time, that's saying something for sure. And I think you're doing quite well, Jackson. I think all you boys in the Little Rumble are doing exceptionally well. And if anything can be an attestament to that is when you guys were jumping in, running different classes. Like, for instance, when you ran the Super Late Model and won it against all of the adults, Randy Kirtley included, the other day. So don't get down on yourself if you do not win the series. Second place is great. Third place is, fourth place is even great in a series. So definitely don't get down, don't get discouraged. Just keep telling yourself, I've got to find ways to get better and work on that. And everything comes at a pace that it should for each individual. But everybody can be great. There's no doubt in my mind everybody can. And whatever they set their mind to. There is nothing that you cannot do. Paul Woosley there in the lead. Speaking of that, at the beginning of this series, he's like, there's no way I could catch Randy. He's too good. And, I tried to reiterate even to Paul. I was like, dude, there's nobody that's too good. You just got to put forth the effort like he's doing. And Paul, man, he started putting forth a strong effort coming in here, racing all day. As soon as he get off work, he'd come in here, he would tinker, he'd mess with stuff, and he found a way. And that's what it takes. You got to find a way, and then they might come back and find a way, and then you got to find another way. But that's the whole point of racing. It's never to win a series, and that's to be the win-all, be-all. It's always just to push yourself progressively forward to be better at everything that you do. And I think racing is the epitome of that, because when you go to a job, there's only one CEO. If you want to be a CEO of a job, you got to win. And there's only one winner, folks. And racing is beautiful. It's not like football or baseball or basketball where everybody on the team wins. No, one win. There's only one winner. And it's the great equalizer for sure. So definitely push forward. And I know that kind of talk nowadays is looked down upon, but I don't care. I know good, strong men. I know good, strong women that have those kind of attitudes in their mind, and they go on to be super successful. I know a lady that actually works in buying and selling homes, man, multimillionaire. And, so don't just think because you're a woman you can't do things too. You just put your mind to whatever you want to do, you can do it. I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of things that go through my mind sometimes I'd like to do myself. Don't know where to start. but I keep pushing forward, trying to find different things to progress whatever it is that I'm trying to do. Currently, right now, I'm just trying to make everybody happy and pleased here at Lanes Raceway, making the bigger effort to try to do that. It's sometimes very stressful and, causes a lot of late hours and then early mornings also. But it all pays off in the end, especially when you see those smiles and you see the kids being happy and you see the adult kids being happy. It works out. And the same thing goes for racing or any other thing. You just, more effort put in, and I'm talking diligent effort. I'm not like just saying, well, you just put vain effort in, but putting forth that effort to be better than what you was before. That's the key. 4 red lights drop out to green. Paul Woosley still in the lead, and a track call being made for the high banks there as we see Paul Woosley coming to a stall there on orange. This happens a lot with the guys is now they're running lower and lower on their guide flags, not using as big of guide flag washers underneath there. So not getting a whole lot of connection there as they run their braids so flat and true. And a car coming off right there in the horseshoe. And that is Tom Payton there on blue. Asking T to take a quick look there at the braid, make sure it's on the up and up. I'd heard a guy one time on YouTube even say that, like, failure is not that you're the worst, but it's just a sign that you can improve. And, when you think about things like that, it is true. Like, failures can even be successes. So when you mess up on one thing, well, you just know that ain't the way to do it. Just go to the next thing. Eventually you're going to run out of things to do and you're going to find the right thing, and then you can just stick with it. Bruce has kind of been the epitome of that in our racing here on the LMP Thunder Circuit. I've seen Bruce, he starts out and he does one thing with the car and it works great. But Bruce being Bruce and the racer heart that is in every one of us, trying to push to be better, get those better lap times, he comes back the next week, and that didn't work as well as it did the week before. But instead of going back to the week before, he tried something completely different, trying to get it to work. And about mid-season, he came up with a car that he was a front runner with, and doing quite well. Gabriel Kirtley, hello Don, hello Gabe, coming from a YouTube, it looks like. Gabriel, of course, having some bad luck Sunday. His car completely wadded up. You guys heard that in a small interview that I did with him, where the center of his chassis was completely mangled up. He just went ahead and pulled himself out of the race. Him and Tom Payton both having some bad luck. Of course, Amani, time was warranted there, so he just went on home. He likes to get home before it gets dark. But we had 3 of our 7 racers out, so it was getting bleak. And we've had a few other times where it's like that too, where it gets quite bleak. And you just don't know. So how a race is going to turn out. This race here could even turn out that way. Paul Woosley, Randy Kirtley have been within 2 laps this whole race long, it feels like. And it could change at a moment's notice. And I think we're probably going to see them getting a lot closer here as we progress through now that Randy's on black lane here. We're going to start seeing him be able to push his car a little bit harder. But then again, if Paul Woosley really pushes the subject now that he's warmed up, it might be tough for Randy to catch him. It boils down to keeping them cars on the track, folks. That's what it boils down to. And kind of holding to a decent median lap time that you can run without wrecking. So we get 3 cars come off in the horseshoe and a track call. That's a half J, folks. 1 half J just took place. 54 total laps from Paul Woosley, 54 laps Randy Kirtley. Bruce Bullington, 52 laps, still battling hard with Tom Payton with 51. 1 lap separates them guys, and that's the same story been told. Glenn Burden was in that battle. Glenn has now retired his previous Gemini chassis, the same chassis that Gabriel ran last week. And that chassis is mangled, folks. So he's resorted to his backup chassis. and that's why he's fell from Bruce and Tom. But they were all within one lap of each other all the way up till the fourth heat. So very tight racing here on this Thursday. Like I said, no glue on the track. The guys like a day with no glue and a day with glue. So we're going to have that day with glue be Sunday, and this day is the day of no glue. Three of them rolling up wide and hard right there. Randy Kirtley taking the outside of the horse or of the donut there. On the inside of him is Paul Woosley, giving it everything he's got there on Orange Lane. Both of them staying pretty neck and neck within about 100th of a second of each other. Something's got to give, though, as we come up into this big group and we see two cars come off. Randy Kirtley getting involved in there with Glenn Burden there off Yellow Lane. Glenn Burden resorting back to a C28, I believe is what they're called, JK chassis. And they handle well. They just don't have the speed that the Alioses or the Gemini chassis have. Nonetheless, he's in this. He's going to finish it out. He's not going to back out. He wants to try for those laps, even if he doesn't make it. And I commend that. Just like I was talking to Jackson for, going through his sickness. Anybody can just back out of the race, but those that stick it through, they're bettering themselves when it comes to taking home that dub. Current standings right now, we can see Paul Woosley in the lead, followed by Randy Kirtley, Tom Payton, Glenn Burden, and Bruce Bullington. Your top five are here tonight racing. Little Rumble, of course, Jackson, Darty, Carson, and Weston Durham. Round up your top three. Jay Latham, Jackson, and Bruce Bullington in the Rookie Rumble. My wife rushing to get to the High Banks portion of the track to help Paul Woosley's car along. Three laps separate Randy Kirtley from Paul Woosley. The question is, in these next three heats, will Randy be able to succumb to the point of catching Paul Woosley? If not, Paul Woosley's going to hang on there. Neither one of these guys giving up any resolve whatsoever, as both of them make it a point to not wreck at all. Usually getting involved in wrecks, as we see a car fly to the outside there and a red flag rotation. That's Tom Payton's car. Tom Payton, of course, having a little bit of issues, he said, tonight with his car. He told me earlier, he said it was his motor dragging. So evidently the sorter came undone on his chassis, and he's had a little bit of issue there. Nonetheless, as we end the heat there, we got Paul Woosley out in the lead, 443 total laps, followed by Randy Kirtley with 440. So we see Randy Kirtley not turning as strong of a black lane there, 2 laps down from Paul Woosley. 401 laps there, Bruce Bullington turning some pretty mid-of-the-run 80s and 84s or something. Tom Payton there also running about mid-80s, high 70s there with 400. Glenn Burden there in the 70s and 80s, low 80s, and a horrible black run for Glenn Burden, as Glenn usually runs quite high there in the black lanes, somewhere competitive with Randy and Paul. But nonetheless, Paul Woosley there with 290s, Randy with 290s, and we can see Paul Woosley with an 88 on yellow, Randy with an 88 on black. So as Randy moves to yellow, he almost just needs to do better than 88, and that'll put him a little bit higher on the hog than Paul. But as we can see, Paul Woosley is going to be moving to that white lane. He, of course, has to beat Randy Kirtley. Going to leave you guys here with the current standings. 1 minute and 30 seconds. We'll be back racing. right, folks, 4 red lights going to drop out to green. We're going to go racing the LMP Thunder style. We've got a new racer who's not new up there in the upper right-hand portion. You guys and gals may know him as Teddy. Excited to see Teddy back. Been missing him. Hadn't seen him since the basement days. He's back in the mix, rolling around with the guys. Got him a couple of GRCs ready to roll and an Indy car for the upcoming series. What a blessing to have him back and racing. So I think this upcoming series is going to be super exciting. Going to be some nail biters, I have a feeling. Get a car over on its lid there, and we see T get it put back on. That's Glenn Burden off Orange Lane. Randy Kirtley got that lead back down to 2 laps as Paul Woosley has to go through his red and white lane here. It's going to be a hard run for him as red and white is somewhat of Paul's Achilles heel here. Bruce Bullington there, 413, as we get a car come completely off the track here in the backstretch. Let's go to a bigger view here. We can see it looks to be Bruce Bullington. I don't know whose car that is Randy Kirtley's picking up there. Oh, that's Bruce Bullington's car there on black. So that must be Randy Kirtley's car. It is Randy Kirtley's Red Bull car. He goes to get his car put back on. Behind him on Orange Lane, of course, is Glenn Burden. Now 3 laps separate Paul Woosley from Randy Kirtley. Paul Woosley, of course, coming around the donut portion of the track. With a median of a 3.35 and a 3.33 with Randy, very close medians here. It's going to boil down to getting involved in incidents or wrecks. Best laps there of a 3.301 by Paul Woosley and a 3.284 of Randy Kirtley. Randy Kirtley going to have to push here on yellow and get past that car as that car blips a little bit. Tom Payton there on purple allowing Randy to go on by to stay in the heat here with Paul Woosley. More focusing in here on the upper 2 than the bottom 2 here, but Bruce Bullington and Tom Payton, 422, 421, as we get another car to come off. Hard hit there on the backstretch. That is Paul Woosley. Whether it was a tail whip or an incursion is not yet known. Orange Lane there, Glenn Burden come through the horseshoe and Randy Kirtley right behind him, heel in tow. As we see Randy Kirtley dive around the donut, making an easy pass here. He's now reeling in Paul Woosley to take one of those laps back as he rolls around the donut portion of the track through the backstretch. That white is getting smaller and smaller by the second. Randy Kirtley pulling about a car length per lap as Paul Woosley does something wild off the backstretch. Comes completely off the track, too much acceleration through the horseshoe as he darted, went back to the wall, come completely off the track here. On the way in, had an incursion about in this point here where he hit Randy full speed. What a rough one there, folks. As we go to the big view here, we got the hooks of life out. Glenn Burden there, giving a little hooker there, trying to message to T there, popping her gum. As he does get the pole across the map there. Paul Woosley and Randy Kirtley both looking at their cars. Of course, that wreck completely unintentional, not meaning to catch Randy Kirtley there, but that was a hard enough hit that both these guys should be worried whether or not chassis has an issue. Both these guys running Gemini chassis here at Lanes Raceway. It's getting heated up here, folks. 2 heats left to go. It's boiling down to the wire. Bruce Bullington on black lane, Tom Payton on purple. As they roll around the donut, getting hung up a little bit there, Bruce was on black, and now they've kind of separated a little bit. Tom Payton able to catch an advantage there, maybe pull a lap off of Bruce over a small mistake. A little bit of a cluster and 2 cars getting involved in the incident in the high banks portion of the track. That is Bruce Bullington and I think Paul Woosley. Yeah. So I don't know who ended up causing the incursion there, but Paul Woosley going to fix the front bumper of his car as it's tucked in from a hard hit. See my wife there messing with the LEDs. They do take damage, folks. They are glass, but not indestructible. and sometimes take a huge wallop. As we might have parts taken off of some of these cars as Bruce goes ahead and gets his car set back on the track. Could be bent. He's taking a quick look here. Looks like he's going to try to bend the center of the chassis a little bit, kind of get it back up underway. He's giving her a good eyeball. He's going to put her back on black. Paul Woosley taking his to the pits. We'll see if we can get a better view of Paul Woosley. Paul Woosley coming around there from the pit section. Everybody's ready. We're going to have 4 red lights drop out to green. Randy Kirtley got that lead within 1 now to Paul Woosley. Paul Woosley probably feeling a little bit of the heat now as Randy Kirtley drives that yellow lane harder and harder. Hard to keep Randy off your heels when you're on the inside lines there on white. About a half a lap down separates Paul Woosley from Randy. And I believe Paul Woosley's car now in a somewhat bent shape. Going to have to take a look at that after the heat's over with, but getting him put back on there on white lane as he kind of slipped out on dead man's corner there. Bruce Bulletin, Tom Payton, 2 laps separates them two. So we got a nice little battle between them. Coming out on the inside, purple and black. Woo! Tom Payton and Bruce Bulletin really just not giving an inch as we see Bruce Bulletin rush to the front portion of the screen there. Bruce told me a while ago that he said that his car's slow, but it don't bend. As Bruce straight up gives the old punch to Tom Payton and sends him over the horseshoe hole. See Cassie there helping out with car retrieval. We got everybody here in the mix. Randy Kirtley now trying to take back another lap here from Paul Woosley as he goes on the outside of Tom Payton, making a nice, easy, clean pass there. Actually gets in front of Paul Woosley. Paul Woosley, you can tell his car is kind of slowing down a little as we get another one off in the old horseshoe hole. So we get a better view here. We see Cassie quick to grab it. Until he gets that car put back on black in a quick-like fashion. And another yellow flag there. Glenn Burton coming off. there's a track button right here, kind of circling. It's kind of a bad circle there, but there's a track button there that she can press and it kills the track. And then there's another one right over here that she can hit on that side. So if we don't have track marshals, she just keeps a hand on the track call button. When they wreck, she just hits the button and kills the track. And then she puts the car or cars on. And that's pretty much how they run the race.
Sorry. And how long do they run for?
So each heat they run 5 minutes, and then they do a rotation. We do European rotation, which is every other lane instead of every lane. So instead of going from red to white to green to orange to blue to yellow, like American rotation, it would go from red to green to blue to purple to black to yellow to orange to white.
And why do you do that?
So they're not running 2 lanes that's similar each heat.
Yeah. So if you run heat after heat and you just stair step over, I'll be next to Teddy the whole race. I won't be able to escape him. So if there's a skill gap, like Teddy being better than me and me being worse than Teddy, then Teddy's not going to be happy because I'm going to keep wrecking Teddy and holding him up. But with this, what happens is they alternate. They go from one to the next, and it makes it where I'm only next to Teddy for 2 heats. And I'm next to everybody else for 2 heats, too. All right.
You have to start figuring out one of these days.
We did that in the basement that way, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, European rotation, in my opinion, is the best of the rotations. Just for that reason. It keeps it more fair.
How many lanes are there?
8. Yeah. That's a full track. They do make 6-lane tracks, too, and 4-lane, like, home tracks. Now, there is 2-lane HO tracks, which is home operated tracks, like the ones that you get like Tyco tracks.
Well, that's what I remember as a kid.
But in this situation, it's a commercial track. They're called Monarch tracks, is what they're called. So AMC, they made them, American Monarch tracks. So and when you go to like big races, national races, and stuff like that, it's always an 8-laner.
Do they have a championship every year and all that?
Yeah, it's actually this weekend at Mid-America. They're having a nationals race up there, wing car. I think Group F's tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you have like state titles and stuff like that or anything? Or
Which ones are they?
is it just point leaders or
The,
what?
the carbon fiber hubs team. 760s or 790s will be fine. Yeah, so the nationals, whenever they compete, it's usually several different states that combine races, and you go race here one week, you go to this one, then you go to that one, and then the points accumulate, and then they have a nationals race at the end. And 100 or 200 people end up showing up to these races, and they have to run heats basically, so 8 at a time, and then they take a certain amount from each heat, and eventually, and that's just how one way they run it. And then they'll take the final 8 and they'll run the final feature, you know. We run round robin, so we can have as many people as you want. And what we end up doing is if we have 12 people, you come off on white and you go back in on red. So if we got 12 people, that's 4 heats you got to set out. And then after that 4th heat, you come back in on red and you put your car on red, you know, where you left off. But they usually, on those higher end national races like that, they don't do that. They do heats, and you get eliminated out of it. And I think that's what they do at Mid-America. They eliminate you out.
Where's that at?
Chicago?
Is that there every year or is
No,
it
the
just
nationals. When I was younger, Dad, they went to a national race, I think in Georgia or Alabama one. But they have them all over the place.
cool?
And I mean, we got something like a national race going to come up. Now it's just for Just Lanes Raceway. But this next series is the 4 Crowns. So it's going to be 4 different series, but each series that you enter gets points to the Grand Championship. And whoever gets that out of those 4 series is going to be the grand champion of Lanes Raceway. So basically like a Lanes Raceway's national race. And for a year, you'll be the king of the track.
Right.
because we're going to crown you.
Uh-huh.
You know, and we do that on fall because that's whenever we usually get the sponsorships. You don't want to hound people all the time for sponsorships, so once a year is good enough. And we get enough sponsors, we get a bigger payout for the guys in each one of them, and then whenever that series completes, you know, it means more. You know, you got to wait a whole year to compete in a 4-crown race. You know, you're going to be thinking about it all year long while you're in these smaller series. You know what I mean? And it kind of keeps that alive and keeps guys wanting to come and get into the next series to keep sharp for, you know, the grand championship. Of course, last year it was just Fairview IT Cup, but we just opened. It was our first series, and since then, that was the biggest payout that we had. It was $2,000, and then plus sponsorships. And since then, we ain't had a higher payout than that. So we're hoping to surpass that this fall, and then next fall, hopefully we can surpass that and keep going. You know.
So you just keep, are you satisfied with your growth process and everything?
Yeah, I mean,
in a year, I mean, I see all the pinball machines, I see more people, so I mean.
it's slow, right? You got to be okay with slow growth, and I think that's the best kind of growth. You don't want to grow too quick. It's just like the stock market. If it grows too quick, you know a crash is coming. So I like that slow, gradual step up. You know, and we don't try to overextend our means. We don't try to overextend our budget. We just stay within it so we can pay the bills. And if we have extra money, we buy stuff. If we don't, well,
Makes
guys.
sense. That's sort of how I work.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of keep it within logical standards, and things work out. Now, I try to progress the stream and stuff like that. We've hit hiccups because our computer wasn't good enough. Now it's good enough. I'm still running the old software to finish this season out, but we're going to move into some better software, have some better rope stuff, put it in 4K instead of 1080. Right now, we're running 1080p, 30 frames a second. You know, we can do 4K, then when you watch it on your phone, like, I don't have to make the screen bigger. You can already see it fine enough on your phone because it's 4K resolution. So the fidelity goes higher.
I didn't even know. That's like my TV's like 700 or 1080. 1080 is the good speed, I think.
That's what's called full HD. Yeah. So 4K is if you put a 1080p panel, 1080p panel, 1080p panel, and 1080p panel. 4 of them in one TV. That's 4K. So it's 4 times the resolution of full HD.
Can you see if I got some space probably?
You're a little loose.
Loose. Well, I didn't know how close to slide that tire to the pinion gear. I know that other set of tires, it seemed like that tire was further away from the pinion gear. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, back to racing. Randy Kirtley now taking over the lead. 568 laps to Paul Woosley's 566. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in this round robin. 7 of 8 might be indicative of your finish unless something seriously bad happens to Randy or Paul. Bruce Bullington there with 525 to Tom Payton's 523. Bruce Bullington taking that third place. He's hungry, folks. Like I said, that battle is working out in Bruce's favor here. 2 laps separates those two. So we got us a pretty good battle between the both. Glenn Burden trying to get as many laps as he possibly can in hopes to replace a race. Like I said, he's racing himself here now, just trying to hang in there. Of course, on white lane, tough lane, as we see many people falling short there on the white lane tonight. Back on the orange lane, though, we see Randy Kirtley really pushing hard on that orange subject, turning 50 laps so far with 2 minutes left to go. Red lane of Paul Woosley kind of focusing in a little bit on him. We can see him running a nice, smooth, clean red lane. 3.47 median. That's really extremely fast for a red lane. We'll see if he's able to compete or beat the red lane of Randy Kirtley. Minute and 50 seconds left to go. Like I said, we got some pretty close racing here. Medians within a tenth of a second of each other all the way through. And best laps of 3.2 as best of Randy Kirtley there on orange lane. A little bit of a cluster rolling through the donut portion of the track, we can kind of see 4 of our racers there neck and neck with one another as we get a flag call there and Glenn Burden getting his car put back on white. The wife has been instructed tonight, since we do not have a whole lot of track marshals here, so just go ahead and hit that button tonight and get them rolling good. It is what it is on Thursday night, folks. It's usually the slower of our race nights. Sunday is usually bustling in here. We expect a huge bustling day Sunday. We're going to be open earlier. You know, as soon as I get everything prepared and the food and stuff warmed up, I will be here. I'm sure Gabriel will be here even earlier. So definitely, if you're planning on a full day here at Lanes Raceway, keep your eyes towards Facebook. Not only can T message on that, but Gabriel can too. So whatever Facebook says, that's law at Lanes Raceway. You don't have a Facebook page, you can kind of skimp your way into there through our website. Go to our website, go all the way to the bottom, click the Facebook thing, hit the X in the upper right-hand portion, and it'll let you view our page. You just can't click on any of the comments. You can't click on the stuff. You can just kind of negate your way through our page to see what's going on without having a Facebook page. I know there's not a whole lot of people that have Facebook pages as somewhat of a strike to the system. I don't know. I don't have one myself simply because I don't feel like going through the mess of having to fill one out nowadays with all the stuff they want, pictures and everything else. But Lanes Raceway has one, so, you know, hop on there and check it out. If you know somebody else that's going to come and you just don't feel like going through our website, give them a shout, or hey, give us a shout. 278-1400 here at Lanes Raceway, area code 270. And you can reach me at any time as long as I have signal on my cell phone. So if you don't get me the first time, give me another shout. If you can't get me and it seems like it's going straight to just a dut, then send me a text message. When it goes through, I'll give you a shout back. Of course, let me know who you are. May or may not have you in my phone book. That way I know who I'm talking with when I give you a shout back. But nonetheless, I'll give you some more info on that for sure as the day approaches. Now, of course, we are scheduled to open at 3 o'clock on Sundays. But like I said, this Sunday, being it is Banquet Sunday and it's our last race day, we are definitely going to be open early. Randy Kirtley there was 6:20 to end that heat, followed by Paul Wisley with 6:16. Bruce Bullen's in there with 5:68. Tom Payton with 5:66. So that battle still ensues. Tom brought it back within one lap there towards the end. Glenn Burden with 520 total laps as we end that heat. Paul Wisley and Randy Kirtley just battling it out. 4 laps separates them as we roll into this last heat. 88.6 for Randy and 88 total for Paul Wisley. Randy Kirtley running a 4 roll of 90s to Paul Wisley's 2 roll of 90s. Going to probably be kind of tough for Paul to catch back up with that new motor. As we go to the current standings here, we'll be right back with you as soon as the racers are ready. All right, we're back. Green Racing. They had to rush, folks, because I had to rush to get in here. T quick on the button there, getting Paul Woosley put back in there on green lane. Randy Kirtley right behind him, ensuing him there on white lane. This is the final heat here, folks. Randy Kirtley on the inside. Paul Woosley definitely not going to give Randy Kirtley any love here, as he's got to try to make some laps back up. We see Paul Woosley kind of walking away a little bit from Randy Kirtley, about a car and a half length every race, but Randy kind of catching a little bit back up through the S portions. It's really just going to ensue on how well these guys stay on. Paul Woosley and Glenn Burden or Bruce Bullington getting involved in an incident through the horseshoe. Action Jackson says, I go back to school tomorrow. Well, Jackson, do your studies, get smart, and graduate. Do not fail like I did. I failed a grade myself, but nonetheless, have fun. Have a good time in school. Stay out of trouble. A little flick of the wrist there. Tom Payton coming out on the donut portion. Or no, that's Randy Kirtley coming out. Man, that car almost looks black from this screen. It's funny how every week my cameras kind of act a little different. That is blue, though, and silver. Looks like Glenn Burden's setting this last one out. I don't know exactly how many laps he had, but he might have been very, very close to being able to replace one of his races. Let's see what his lowest race is. So currently, Glenn Burden's lowest race is a 632. And you can look at about, on average, 78, 79 laps a heat. Okay. Some of the guys that are, a little bit quicker, Randy, Paul, sometimes Tom, and sometimes Glenn and Bruce. Pretty much these guys can run into sometimes the upper 80s and 90s. So lower 90s, but upper 80s. But usually it's about 78, 79 laps on average is about what people turn. So we'll see if he was able to maybe get that, if he would have just hung in there a little bit. I don't know what he ended up ending with, and we won't be able to tell until this heat is over with. Randy Kirtley in the lead by about 4.5 laps there. Bruce Bullington and Tom Payton still battling it out as we kind of focus in on them, orange and yellow, neck and neck there, as we see Tom Payton take back the lead there. But right behind him is Bruce Bullington. It's all going to boil down to whether or not who pushes harder. Bruce Bullington a little bit slower through the S turns than Tom, but a little bit faster on the straight stretches, catching him back up as a dive bomb. Getting dive bomb himself, Bruce there, Paul Woosley there taking advantage. Tom Payton running a pretty successful dog leg there, or dog nut there. Donut, sorry, not dog nut. What am I talking about, folks? Forgive me. It's a little warm here in Lanes Raceway, but about half a lap track difference between Tom Payton and Bruce Bullington currently, as we see a quick flag call there as Paul Woosley's car coming out with 660 so laps. Randy Kirtley there with 670. Tom Payton 615. Bruce Bullington 615. About half lap separating. Hard hits there on the wall. Randy Kirtley on white coming off. Minute 30 seconds left to go. Randy Kirtley out in the lead, 682 to 677. Tom Payton there in third place, 627. Bruce Bullington, 626. Very close between Tom and Bruce yet again. It's kind of a give and take back and forth between these two. One heat, Bruce has got it. Next heat, Tom's got it. At the very beginning, of course, Glenn was in that mix too. Looks like a couple people coming off up underneath the bridge there. T's going to get them put back on. 1 minute, 19 seconds left to go in this race. As we go back, 1 minute left to go. It looks like Randy Kirtley going to bring this one home in the last couple of heats here, getting advantage on his nice inside lanes there that he likes to run. Already turning 73 to Paul 71 here. Tom Payton there, 71 laps in advantage to Bruce Bullington, 68. Definitely needs Tom Payton to wreck a couple times if he wants to try to catch up and take back that third position he's been holding for the past couple of heats. As we can see here, Tom Payton, 642 laps, 641 to Bruce Bullington. As he slips and slides his way through the horseshoe, he's coming back up on Bruce Bullington, ready to make a pass. Can he do it? It looks like he's going to make the pass there. Tom's tires heating up nice, holding through the S-turns in the horseshoe, neck and neck with him and Bruce. And Bruce kind of just letting her loose there on the straight stretch. As I smash my phone onto the concrete, we take a quick look here at the track mate for our final results here. 708, Randy Kirtley, Paul Woosley, 702, Tom Payton, 650, Bruce Bullington, 648, and Glenn Burden, 520. So he could have got about a 590 or so if he would have run a really exceptional almost 600 laps. So he wouldn't have been able to replace a race. So Glenn Burden just taking her easy. Don't say I blame him. Wife's going to come in here and get some pictures. Then we're going to go ahead and get a podium picture. Randy Kirtley, Paul Woosley, and Tom Payton, please go to the podium for your pictures. Everybody right now bringing their cars in here to get them weighed and make sure that they pass tech. Thank you, T. All right, we can see the guys out there rolling around, maybe to get their picture taken here. But as we go back to the track mate, we can see our results yet again. This is going to change a little bit here for possible. Let's see if Paul and Randy, just what we got currently here before I get off with you. A 702 and a 708. So both of the guys are going to be able to replace a race. And I think that's all the info I got currently. Let's see. $686, $680, $680. 677. So it looks like Randy's going to replace a 677. And Paul, 689, 698, 688. So it looks like Paul's going to replace a 688 with his. So like I said, it's going to come down to the wire, folks. So stay tuned for sure as we can kind of take a look at the current standings here. Losing a couple laps there, Randy Kirtley's going to gain a little bit this week over Paul Woosley. It's going to be tight, folks. Keep an eye out. It's coming Sunday. It's it. That's all we got, folks. Here coming Sunday is going to be L&P Thunder, Little Rumble, Rookie Rumble, and those are the final races. And as close of a nail biter as this race was, we're probably expecting to see the same thing yet again. I don't know if Randy can come back and pull it through Paul, but Paul may have a bad day, and you know Randy may come back and bring this home. But stay tuned. It's going to be a great time Sunday. I don't know what else to say. This is Donald Curley here at